What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Beyond the Forecast. We've got another one today, tracking Tropical Storm Erin. That's going to be the main really thing kind of going forward here, I guess, right?
Yeah. I think all week.
All week.
Probably all week and into next week.
This is a perfect way to start our daily live stream, isn't it?
Right.
Couldn't get any better.
Busyness in the Atlantic.
You know, this storm has been getting a little weaker here in the last 24 hours since we last checked in with it. It's starting to shift a little bit farther south on its track. I don't know if that means long term, if it's going to change how it gets closer to the United States or not, but it has been something that's been interesting that I've seen on the satellite and at least from observation so far.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like you said, how that kind of impacts some of that longer range stuff where it's going to end up going beyond just staying in the ocean. Because right now, you know, it's like, okay.
It's an ocean storm.
Right.
Yes.
It's far away from really anything.
But Puerto Rico now kind of in the zone where they got to pay attention now.
The islands there,
Yes.
any sort of a southern shift, and then you obviously have to talk more direct impacts to those locations.
So there's the stats at the top of that screen, 45-mile-an-hour winds, gusts of 60 miles an hour. That was the 11 o'clock update. We'll get a new update from the Hurricane Center at 5 p.m. The storm is expected to stay as a tropical storm for a little bit longer. It will probably strengthen to a hurricane sometime Thursday evening now. When we were talking about this earlier, it was a Wednesday strengthened to a hurricane. Now it's delayed by 24 hours. So we're basically looking at a tropical storm for the next 2 days or so, and then it becomes a Category 1 hurricane, but maybe strengthening quickly to a Category 3 hurricane Friday and into Saturday and eventually into Sunday. That's when it gets a Cat 3. Cat 3 was a status for Saturday originally. Now it's a status for Sunday.
Essentially,
so
just
everything's
think
been pushed back a day.
One day.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just think about yesterday's forecast, new data coming in, and everything's pushed back a little bit. And it's a little bit of a more southern track. You can see Puerto Rico. It's important to talk about the cone of uncertainty as this is where the center of the storm may go.
Yep.
So you have to think when it's a Cat 2 or 3 at this point, this upcoming weekend, this could be a much larger system. So the impact's reaching way outside of the cone at this point. So we're, as the days go on, maybe you have to start looking at some preparations for, the people of Puerto Rico. Some of the islands there, because this is probably going to be a bigger system at that point.
Yeah, and like you said, it's where the center of the storm could be. So anywhere where that red icon is spinning on that line, it could be anywhere in that line or even forward and back by the equidistant of that. So that's when you look at a cone, you're looking at the center of the storm, not the outer bands of the storm.
Totally. You're looking at the center. Where's the center going?
Now the big question is, and we're already starting to get questions on Facebook, so we're going to kind of sneak our way slowly into there. We'll look at the long-range models. This blue ones, these are the European models based. GFS has a little bit more to a easterly track closer to Bermuda. The Euro fans it out, still generally has a track that keeps it out to sea in the long term. You can see where it is by Saturday. So there's consensus on Saturday. There's some consensus even on Sunday.
On Sunday,
Yeah. I think it's pretty consistent through the weekend, but once you get beyond that, that's really where it kind of fans out more. But we still have a lot of models that are at least keeping it in the ocean. So hopefully that is the track that it continues to stay on. Right.
Hopefully. Otherwise, we're going to be working some extra hours next week, I think.
Exactly.
And that's where the questions start to come in. You know, how bad will it be in my city? How bad will, Joey was asking, how bad will it be in Moyac? How bad will it be in Currituck? How bad will it be in Williamsburg? Who knows? Because we don't even know where it's going.
We have no idea where it's going yet. It's way too far out to tell. Really, regardless of if it's east or west of Bermuda, say it does make that northward turn. You're going to have to start thinking about rough seas for sure, overwash along the Outer Banks. So for those down there, maybe something to start thinking about. But as of right now, we have no idea where this thing's going yet once it gets really off the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull up the live radar here just as just for a map. I'm going to turn off all the radar stuff. I'm going to clean up the screen here so we don't have the radar data, because I want to show you just kind of a basic understanding of where the storm could be tracking. So we'll keep Bermuda in view just so we can see what's going on. So if the storm stays out here, no problems, really. We get the surf, we get some beach erosion, not a big deal. If the storm grazes by and it's closer, we get some impacts. We get tidal flooding, we get wind, we get rain. If the storm goes through South Carolina and comes up here, then it's a tornado risk that we have. If it goes through here, then it's wind and tornado risk. It's everything. So we don't know, and we'll know more on those impacts as it gets closer, and that may not be until 24 hours before the storm moves in.
A lot of times, yeah. And we might not know if this thing's going to stay totally out to sea or not until really that point anyway.
Yes, and one thing that Don Slater's always said throughout his 40-plus year career here, when a storm is moving through the area, they don't follow a straight line. They can wiggle a little bit.
Yep.
Now, on a smaller scale, not as big of a scale as this map, but on a smaller scale, and that can change a lot even in just a few hours and change the whole forecast.
And that can totally dictate what areas see the worst of an impact of a storm.
Right.
It doesn't take much. It could take a 50-mile jog to the east or west to cause big-time changes.
Yeah, so all we have now in our area are just some clouds and some showers in the North Carolina, but it hasn't been too bad today. Just, I would say, really humid.
Really humid.
It is
Sticky.
really humid. Yeah.
Sticky. Yeah.
Really soupy.
Yeah, and we get to stay that way for a while. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it is still summer. I know everyone enjoyed, we had a long break where we had that
was
low
a long
humidity and
stretch.
those cool temperatures.
Really long stretch.
So that was nice. And then I think people started to get used to it, but that was like our false fall, right? You see that meme that goes around?
Everybody was saying, fake fall, where's the pumpkin spice?
Right.
And I was like, hold on, everybody.
It's
this
back.
is not even
Yep.
close.
Yep.
We're only in August.
Now we're back to that tropical air.
Yep.
Yes, I even looked at radar. I was at the supermarket today at 11 o'clock, and it rained while I was in the store. Everything was soaked when I got outside.
Right.
Oh, really?
And didn't see anything on radar. It was really strange.
That is strange.
And all the cars in the parking lot were all wet. It wasn't just
Nothing on
my
radar.
car.
It must have been a really shallow storm that just popped right
Yeah.
up below the radar beam.
Because
you
I
have
was
to
going to say,
think.
it looked dry for us when
Yeah.
I was doing midday and everything.
Yeah.
It was just way down, like mainland Dare was the only thing that was seeing rain.
And I was doing this in the parking lot, looking up at the clouds. I was trying to find a lower cloud, a
Right.
cumulus cloud. I couldn't find any. So it was a very strange kind of summertime shower that passed by. But I didn't.
Right.
I couldn't see where it came from. I was only in the store. I bought a ruler. Because we need a ruler, a nice wooden ruler, because they're back to school sale. So I got it for 70 cents. So I was very
There you
excited
go.
about that. And then I also got a bag of rice. I only bought 2 things in the store. And then I was looking for dress socks, but they weren't on sale. So I said, I'm out of here. I wasn't at the grocery store. I was obviously at another store.
Shopping with Jeff Evans.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
no, but there weren't deals. I'm not buying clothes if it's not on sale. I'm not going to buy
Okay,
it.
that's fair.
Did you notice, though, with this shopping run, if people are maybe starting to buy into the hype of this storm, though,
Nah.
and starting to totally unload the grocery store of water and all those things?
I didn't see any signs
Bread,
of that.
milk,
No.
eggs, all that stuff. Yeah, that's good.
Because it's still so far out that there's no need for that yet.
Right. And everything that you
Right.
buy right now will spoil that's perishable by then.
Oh, totally.
That's true. Yeah, because we're really not going to have a better idea until we get into early next week.
We are still,
Yeah,
we
so-
are still 7
Plus,
days out, plus
yeah.
days out, really.
And even a loaf of bread could spoil too.
Exactly.
You get mold on bread. And
Jeff knows that too well.
Yeah, you don't want to eat that. Yeah, I got a bad stomach bug a couple weeks ago. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that on the show. This is a live stream. But this is the thing that we have to think about. Well, everyone's gotten a stomach bug at one point in their lives, so I'm not like superhuman or something. But
Yeah.
this is the storm that we're going to focus on. And where are we at here?
We'll come back. We'll take a quick break.
Yeah.
We'll actually take a quick break now, actually. We'll be right back. We'll talk
Okay.
more about Erin, and we'll talk about more of what we can expect, really, in the next several days. So stand by, and we'll be right back.
Cool.
All right, everybody, we are back. Beyond the forecast, we're talking about Tropical Storm Erin. That's the big, I guess, topic of conversation over the next week or so. It's the big weather story that everybody really wants to talk about anyway. It's, gathering a lot of attention on social media like most of these storms do each year. But we're going to break down some of what we're seeing with the longer range models now.
Yes.
The GFS and the Euro. And it's important to note still we're so far out with this system that you don't want to take each individual model as this is going to happen, because there's still tons of time for things to change.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Deanna is asking, is this storm expected to strengthen? Yes, the storm will be
Yes.
strengthening. It could be a major
And there's a
hurricane
couple
by
reasons.
Sunday.
There's a couple reasons for that. One, water temperatures in the tropical Atlantic basin are really warm right now.
Yes.
Mid to upper 80s in some areas. And it's also going to be moving into an area eventually where there's not a whole lot of wind shear. So basically those two things combined, great for hurricane development. You don't want wind shear. Wind shear in the upper levels can rip a hurricane apart. In this environment that's traveling into, looking pretty calm in the upper levels for it to form. And it's being steered by the Bermuda High westward over, continuing to move over that really warm water.
So we're looking at the GFS model here. This model keeps it a little bit farther away from Puerto Rico. This is a model, this run, 12Z run, the morning run, has it staying more out to sea. A Bermuda storm into next week, Wednesday. The European model, let's load that in. The storm on the bottom right side of the screen right now, here it comes towards Puerto Rico into Saturday and now Sunday. So the storm is a little closer to Puerto Rico, and the storm is strengthening in that same area, but now it's tracking more to the west and coming a lot closer into our area by Wednesday once again, late at night. It's slower than the GFS model because it's closer to the coast, essentially, if you want to think of it like that. Slower, not by forward speed, but by getting out of here, is what I mean by that.
Yeah.
So the timeline of when we're, holding our breath or not is a little bit longer with the European model. So we can compare both models. The red circles are the European models. The yellow circles are the GFS. The red are the European model. You can see them. This is Sunday.
Yeah, the Euro really wants to hug kind of the islands there.
And there's more disagreement than there was before.
Yes, more disagreement than yesterday, especially, where they were pretty much locked tight.
Yeah, they were holding hands, going through the ocean.
And
this is
why you have to kind of check in with these things every single day, because small changes at the here and now can lead to huge changes down the road.
And with the forecast, like you were saying, that the storm has moved a little bit further south, so that's probably what these models are picking up on.
Yes.
So that's why
the
we
Euro
have
especially.
such a big discrepancy now, is because, the European is picking up on that more. So it's saying, okay, well, with that shift, if it continues, that's what's going to happen. But I think the GFS is kind of keeping it more on that original track that it had even yesterday.
The GFS, it does look similar. It does kind of look similar to yesterday's.
I mean, look at that by Thursday. That's a totally different situation.
Completely different situation.
Big difference. But that's what you were talking about, too, is that if it hugs a little bit closer to the coast, then it's going to sit out there for a little longer.
Yeah.
But this is why I said earlier that I think regardless of what happens here, Outer Banks, Overwash, things to start to think about now.
Yep.
Because I think one thing that's for sure is this is going to be the biggest swell we've seen in quite some time.
Yep.
The surfers definitely know that.
Yep. ECSC is excited for that too.
ECSC, here's the thing with ECSC. Is the Euro correct or is the GFS correct? I think for the ECSC, they're probably going to want the GFS.
I would
Euro,
think so.
It's getting close.
Too close.
That could be out of control conditions.
Yep, that's the problem.
Dangerous to surf.
For the Groms, they can't go on that
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely not. It's
So they can't go on
it's
that
way
stuff.
too close. The wind's probably going to be, pretty much onshore this entire time. Maybe you get a brief window. What is this, Thursday? Maybe you'll get that brief window on Friday where the storm, gets out of here and offshore. But I think what, these two runs are showing us is that one is at the moment there's the way higher likelihood of impacts than the other. And that yesterday that wasn't really the case. They were again locked tight.
Yeah.
And agreeing, and now not so much. They've hit that kind of weekend time frame, and they were like, you know what? Whoop.
Yeah.
Correct.
We don't. After this, we have no idea.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's still several days out, and I mean that just is again proving our point of what we're saying is don't freak out about it yet. Things will be changing over the next several days. We're really not going to have a better idea until we get into early next week of what we could potentially be seeing, because these impacts would be by the middle of next week.
The best time, I got a question last night. When will we know the track for impacts for our area? And I would say this weekend we'll have a much better idea.
Yeah,
The weekend
definitely.
for sure.
Because then we let's say it's Sunday morning, you're showing the National Hurricane Center track. The cone could either be closer to Bermuda or it could be closer to the coastline. We'll still have an idea of, okay, we're going to get something from this, we're going to get some wind from this, or we're not.
Right.
So we'll know really this weekend what kind of week we're going to have ahead.
Yeah.
Even if the Euro verified on this solution, that's not horrible for us.
Right.
It's bad for some coastal locations. I'm thinking Rodanthe areas where the houses are exposed and close to the water. So there could be some property issues there. Maybe we could see damage to a pier, possibly, if a pier really takes the hit from the big waves. But that path where it's still offshore, it's close by but offshore, still should be a storm that we wouldn't remember 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. Like, oh yeah, we got some rain out of that. That's all
Right.
that would be. So there hasn't been a solution here in the last 24 hours that says, watch out. That doesn't mean that we're in the clear either.
Right.
But we haven't seen one that says, here we go. We're getting
It's also-
this storm 2.0. We haven't seen that yet, which
It's
is
also
good.
at the point, we keep coming back to it, but it's also at the point where it's way too far out to even call that to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, say the Euro tomorrow wants to put this thing right over Hampton Roads. Still
Right.
way too far out to even make that call.
To lock it in.
No,
Can't lock
exactly.
it in yet.
You can't do that yet.
Nope.
It's way too far out. This, because the possibility that changes in the next run is pretty high still.
Right.
Because again, small changes in the here and now will lead to big changes down the road.
So looking at the European model, just so we can see other features on there too. When we go into Wednesday, we can see, good, I can move the map in. So, oh, that's interesting. Notice how the isobars are different than the rain?
That is interesting, yeah.
Do you think that's new model data that's coming in?
Yeah, I feel like that's probably what that is.
Could be.
Because we're at 3.
What are we looking at right now? So we're looking at the precip type is the 0Z. That's why.
That's why.
So the rain is in the wrong spot.
Yeah, okay.
The rain is bad data. Because that's old model data.
Yeah. Just look at the isobars.
So the isobars are the 12Z run.
Okay.
And now it has it on a track farther out to sea.
yeah.
So that's a big change right there.
So again, all these things obviously
that.
will be changing every model run that
Yeah,
we get. So that's
exactly.
why we say don't panic. I'm sure there's people that are going to be on social media freaking out about this.
Oh my gosh.
Don't worry
Yeah.
about it yet.
No point
No.
in that yet.
Yeah.
Not
Because
yet.
look at these big shifts that we had in just one model run even. Like you'll keep seeing that as we head
that's
throughout
a
the
couple.
next
That's a couple hundred
week.
miles.
Yeah, that's a big change.
That is a big
Huge
difference.
change.
Let's see. Well, ignore the time because I haven't changed that, but that's 350 miles.
That's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a big.
That's
That
big
makes a big
shift.
difference. Yeah.
Hey, ECSC would love for that shift to the northeast.
Looks like a pretty strong storm. So what I was getting to before I noticed that everything was all off. So look at this rain here across the U.S. So that could be part of a front. If that comes in sooner, because again, the models aren't just tracking this one storm, which is soon to become a hurricane. They're tracking everything else that's on the maps. We're tracking where fronts are located, where dry air masses are going to be sitting, who is going to have sunshine. Folks in Memphis that day are wondering, hey, are we going to have sunny weather on Wednesday next week? Because they're not going to get a hurricane.
Right.
So it's tracking everything for everyone. So if we can get that dry air to come in and that front to come through, that could be some good news for us. Right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. No, that could definitely be good news. We want that front to come through and push this thing on out of here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll take another quick break. When
Cool.
we come back, we'll dive, I guess, more into kind of the local forecast and what we can expect really in the coming days ahead here. Because obviously, not only do we have the tropical system, we got to worry about the next few days and possibly rain. We'll let you know coming up in the next break. So after the next break, so don't go anywhere. All right, everybody, we are back beyond the forecast. We're going to break down kind of the local forecast coming up next. We've covered a lot about Erin. There's going to be more to come over the next several days, of course, but we've got some rain that we're contending with right now across Hampton Road, or really North Carolina especially. But even look at that, Virginia Beach, seeing a little
Yeah.
bit of a downpour.
Yeah, and Christy, you were on the last newscast, so go ahead and take it away.
All right. Yeah, definitely not as much rain as we were seeing out there yesterday, but we do still have those pop-ups across northeastern North Carolina primarily, but we're seeing some of that across south side right now as well. So we're really kind of seeing that in Virginia Beach, it looks like. They're starting to see a good amount of pop-ups. You said that you were at the store earlier. We didn't even see it on radar.
No, didn't
but
see
you
it on
had a
radar.
couple of showers, so we might be having some of that activity happening too. But yeah, we're going to be seeing, you can tell on radar, those reds. We've got some heavier downpours that are happening in some of these systems that are these little pop-up cells that are making their way through. Looks like they've really developed over the past, couple of hours here.
Oh, here's the shower. There's the shower right there.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
You
I wanted
spotted
to
it.
go back in time.
Radar.
Okay, we got to
Okay.
see. Let's see where it is. Yep, that was the shower.
You had the one little lone
The
pop-up.
one pop-up.
Yeah.
The first one of the
How
day.
lucky are you, Jeff? Your car get a nice wash from that?
The car was already dirty, so that's okay.
So it was
there-
on radar.
Yes,
just
so it
very
wasn't
tiny,
radar. The radar was
tiny
working.
little blip.
Yep, there it goes.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh, it was very quick.
Yeah, it was quick. And
Yeah.
then, so that's where we were then, and look where we are now.
Yeah.
So a lot more rain that's popped up.
Yep.
Into the evening. So you're saying, I haven't looked at the local forecast so much yet for today. This is going to be a South Side, North Carolina impact?
Yeah, more so North Carolina. We'll see it, a little bit into South Side here. And then that looks like that'll continue for the afternoon. Should be kind of dissipating out again towards the evening hours. But tomorrow, that's when I would say have your rain gear on hand. It looks like we will be seeing off and on rounds of scattered showers and thunderstorms. So we'll see more rain than we've seen out there for the day today. I think Wednesday might be our wettest day this week.
Oh, yeah,
we've got
Look
a
at that.
chance
It's
again
tomorrow morning.
on, So this was interesting. So this model, our graph, has that wave moving through in the morning, but then there were a couple of other models, and I haven't looked at the most recent runs that are coming in, but the NAM wasn't showing us having rain. So it was kind of split between the models where some had us getting rain in the morning and some kept us dry. So
The graph really wants to soak.
That is a lot.
Yeah,
North
I think the
Carolina.
graph is overdoing the rain chance a little bit, but then we've seen it before where
Maybe the
other
coverage.
models, they were not showing as much and the graph was spot on.
I think it's safe to say, though, with how humid it is, though, that any
Yeah,
rain
we
that
could
falls, it could be
definitely
a
see.
downpour. It
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
really be a downpour.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
definitely see those heavy downpours again for tomorrow. We'll have to watch out for some of that flooding again. I mean, that's kind of typical for us right now. But
Look at all that. Even tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night I was very shocked with the graph. It was showing a lot of rainfall. And it was kind of the model that was showing the most rainfall. But again, it's not a washout that it's showing for tomorrow. So again, I would say just make sure that you do have that rain gear on hand. We'll see off and on scattered
Yeah.
showers and storms.
Okay.
It's hard to pinpoint where exactly we're
Those
going
set
to
up,
be
of course.
seeing those storms, of course.
Yep.
And the timing, I think, is really kind of hard to exactly pinpoint when we're going to be seeing that.
Of
Obviously,
course.
a better chance in the afternoon and the evening when you have that daytime heating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that we still have in the morning that chance. I mean, graph was showing a good round moving through in the morning hours, anyways.
Yeah, and the rain's really for the next couple of days, and then it looks still likely that this weekend is going to be wonderful.
Yeah, the weekend was still looking good. Friday was looking like we might have to bump up those rain chances a little bit. So the models
Okay.
were kind of hinting a little bit more at seeing a few isolated to scattered showers out there again on Friday.
Okay.
But the weekend was still looking good, which I know that's what people hope for, is a nice dry weekend. So
Yeah.
I think we'll be good for that. Hopefully, temperatures stay on that a little bit cooler, mid 80s. It's still going to be humid though, so
Yeah,
it's still
it'll
pretty
stay humid.
swampy.
Honestly, this might be a hot take. I'm not going to mind humidity after what we've gone through with the onshore wind the past little bit.
Yeah.
That's a real hot take for Jeff.
No,
Jeff
it
is
is a hot
not
take.
happy I just
I'll
said
take
that.
the onshore wind all day long. That was great. That was so wonderful being outside and having that nice breeze. It was great.
It was nice being outside, but I will say it felt a little bit too cool for me. But I think it's because we were like feeling like the triple digits, and then it just all of a sudden
Yeah.
was much cooler. So, I mean, I'm okay with the humidity if the temperatures are like in the 80s. It's when you get into the 90s and you have that high humidity and it feels like the triple digits. It's just too much.
Yeah, I mean,
totally.
I was sharpening my skis and waxing my skis, getting ready for winter. So no, I wasn't doing that yet. No. I actually do need to get that done, but that's not for another 2 months. I have a little time there to
Yeah.
go. We're getting low on time
Yeah,
here.
we're getting low on time.
Let me just check the Facebook feed. Let's see what's going on. If there's any other questions. Sabrina's just saying a good thing. One thing great about living in Hampton Roads, you wait 5 minutes and that weather changes, and that's how this weather's going to be for the next couple of days.
Yeah.
As we see on the 7 days, so scattered showers. So as we go forward, we're going to keep a close eye on Erin. We'll go back to that first view where we started this, and we'll keep an eye on Erin. We'll have updates on our newscasts at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So tune in. We also will be doing one of these again coming up tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Yep.
We'll see you all then.